Hello, everybody. I am back with chapter 4 of The Science of Getting Rich. And friends, I'm just so excited because as I'm going through this series and as I'm sharing this and teaching this to others, it is really impacting my life in just such a bigger way than I ever expected. When I hired my mentors, Melody Ryba and Robert Hollis, I was intending to grow my business. I was seeking for some transformation in my finances. And that's coming as well. But the biggest piece of this and the biggest takeaway has been my heart transformation and my mind transformation. The differences that this is making in my marriage and in my relationship with my children and how I homeschool and how I keep my home and the energy here is all just the biggest transformation and the biggest part of this. So I just want to encourage you that whatever you're seeking, we often find what we need through that. So I'm so excited that you're following your heart, and I'm so excited that you're here seeking more wisdom and more knowledge. And I come to you today. First of all, you know I love the history of this book. So The Science of Getting Rich was actually published in the 1900s. But as we know, the research and the knowledge and wisdom that this came from was born centuries before that. And this couple of things that I found just so exciting. So if you're like a techie kind of person or a computer guru, you'll really find this interesting. So Leibniz, Leibnitz, was a German mathematician in the 1700s, and he actually was a piece of where this knowledge and information came from in this book. And what he's known for is he refined the binary number system, which is the foundation of our digital computer systems these days. So is that not amazing? I just found that so interesting. He was also known for his optimism, and he's quoted for saying, "Our universe is the best one God created." And I so resonate with that because I really feel that way in my life. And I'm just so blessed and grateful to have this world to live in, to have the technology that we have, to have the resources of wisdom and value that I've found and been given along this journey. And I'm just here to turn around and give it back to you. And I hope that you'll sit and gain something from this as you need in your life. So this chapter goes into the principles. We're going to start learning the principles now. So the first principle is thought. What we think. It all starts here. So then you got to remember too, this is not material that was taught in schools. We didn't learn this growing up, most of us. And most of us aren't teaching this to our children because we never learned it. So that's another real big breakthrough that I have found through this, is that I am gaining a whole new level of understanding and wisdom in this world that I now can pass on to my children. My daughter just told me today, she said, "Mom, I really like when you're working and I get to sit in the room with you, because I learned some things too by listening to the books that you listen to and by listening to your coaching calls. I'm learning things too." And I was kind of blown away by that because my mentor actually told me that this would happen. And I said, "Yeah, sure, this material and content is just way above what a 9-year-old can understand, right?" No, as a matter of fact, side story, it really is a reminder of how we are to put in our minds the thoughts of a child, and the openness to learn, and the openness and willingness to gain new knowledge. Children come into this world learning and growing every day. They wake up every morning expecting new things and just being thrilled to learn and be in this world and be advancing and growing every day. You know that. They want to be teenagers before they're even 10. So, as adults, I know in my personal life, I left that behind for a while. I had the mindset for a while that, I have everything I need. Life is good. I'm okay. And was just kind of going through the motions every day, and finally realized that I was just surviving. I was accepting some things that my own thoughts had not brought into my life. I know that the principle is what we think about is our thoughts, right? And that what we think about is what happens in our life. That is what we get and receive in our life, what we think of the most. However, I do realize that there are some things that cannot be explained. The way I see it basically is growing up, whatever we were born into, whatever we went through as a child, maybe you had issues, maybe you were born into a family that didn't take care of you. Maybe you were born into an abusive life. Maybe there's things that happened to you that you had no control over when you were little. Like my mentor shares his story of childhood abuse and how horrible his parents treated him. He never asked for that, right? That was a result of somebody else's thoughts. But as we grow and as we realize we have control of our own thoughts in life, we can pull ourselves out of that mentality, out of that victimhood. Maybe we've experienced poverty or debt. Even though that might have been what we brought ourselves to at some point, that doesn't mean that's where we have to live. So I recommend that right now you start right where you're at. Thinking beautiful thoughts. Thinking the thoughts of where you want your life and what you want to achieve versus where you've been, or maybe even where you are. Like I say, think beautiful thoughts and see the beauty in your life right now where you're at. But I realize that some of you might look around and be like, this is not beautiful. What I'm experiencing in my life right now is not beautiful. You're telling me to see beauty and to think of beauty when I'm living in this hell of a mess right now? So whether you got yourself there, or whether somebody else got you there, or whether we just can't explain why you're there where you are, I really want to inspire hope in you that it doesn't have to remain this way, and that you are capable and that you are worthy of a prosperous and rich and abundant life, intangible and tangible, both. There is no limit. I want to read you a verse. Proverbs 23:7 says, "For as he think in his heart, so he is." That is not so powerful, and just a confirmation of what this chapter really is teaching us here. Abundance is a state of mind. Riches is a state of mind. It does not start typically with tangible things. It begins here. It begins here. It begins with being open to the fact that anything is possible and that things don't have to stay the same. I'll give you a little story here of how I've realized this in my own life. Like I was seeking a couple years ago a physical transformation, right? In my mind, I didn't see myself as healthy. My body was hurting. I had all these health issues. I was overweight. I had 3 babies. You can hear them in the background. So I thought that a physical transformation was going to be everything I needed. So I got this nutrition system and I bought a stationary bike to keep in my living room. And, little by little, day by day, I gave energy and effort into this physical transformation. And it happened because I saw myself. I saw my abs. I saw my muscles. I said, this is what I want and this is what's going to happen. But friends, truth be told, once I got there and I looked in the mirror at myself, I saw the same person that I was 2 months prior. I saw that unhealthy, overweight, unsatisfied shell of a person still. And it was really difficult for me to realize that I had done all that. I put all that work and energy and effort into this physical transformation, but yet when I looked in the mirror, I saw the same person that I had been before. And this goes into, the things in our life that we can't control. I wasn't born into this, perfect family. I wasn't born into a mother and father who could take care of me. They were young. They did the best that they could. But for my childhood, growing up without my mom and dad was really difficult for me and really put me in a mindset of abandonment and unworthiness. And I realized at that time that it was going to take a lot more for me to get my mind out of that and for me to actually see myself as healthy and see myself as beautiful and see myself as this rich, abundant person in all areas. And I had to go to work. I had to keep working. I had to look at other things and look at personal growth and look at mindset coaching. And I began hiring coaches and mentors and successors that had been there and done that kind of thing before to help me along the way. And thankfully, I'm so grateful and so blessed that I was able to achieve that I was able to receive that mental transformation as well, that I totally assumed was going to come when I could see my abs, when really it didn't. There's so much more. There's so much deeper when it comes to our lives and our health and how we truly think and see ourselves. So know that anything is possible, and that if I've gotten to this point and if I've been able to find this freedom, so can you. So can you. Know that. Know. We were created to create. We were created by the same creator. All humans were brought here and created to be creators. I mean, if you're a parent, then you've created a life. You've been given the blessing and the gift of creating life. How much bigger, how much more do we think it should possibly be to create riches and abundance? If we can create life. Oh, the beauty, the beauty. In my portrait business, for over 10 years, I have photographed newborns, and these beautiful souls inspire me every day to remember that life is new every day. That to come to the world with the eyes of a babe, expecting to receive the beautiful blessings and abundance that our Creator has for us, just waiting to accept, just waiting for us to realize and think on. So that's what this chapter is really, really stressing. Think on the things that you want. Don't think on the things that you don't want. I want to read a quote from the book itself, from chapter 4. It says, "It may be asked if I can prove these statements, and without going into details," I actually just did go into some details, "I answer that I can do so, both by logic and experience." We can master being free. We can master our mindset. It simply takes practice. It simply takes creating new habits and refusing the old ways of thought that have not been working for us. It takes looking past limitedness. It takes looking past, lies that might have been told to us. I'm looking at my notes to make sure I cover everything. It might take past looking at loss that we might have experienced. It might take looking past love that has not been returned to us. It might take past looking at life. Maybe at some point in our lives, we just didn't realize or appreciate really what we had. And that's okay. Realize that, move forward. Be thankful. Don't think on doubt, fear, failures, mistakes. Realize that you are not alone. Realize that we are all here created for the same purpose. Community, to live, to love, to have true abundant life. That is our purpose, to serve others with this abundant